Welcome to Probate Weekly, where we every week get together with investors, wholesalers, real estate agents, executors, petitioners, attorneys, and talk about how to generate more business and get more wealth and income out of probate real estate. I teach a class regularly, 11 ways to make money in real estate. There are 11. Most companies that sell data coaching really teach one or at most two. There's actually 9 other ways, and we're going to talk today about number 10 of the 11, which is actually the easiest to generate a deal like that. If you're working, if you need to get a deal in the next 30 to 60 days, this is a tool that I work on. So we're going to get to there in just a minute. This is the one way to get business. When I tell real estate agents, they kind of poo-poo. Literally today, I was coaching an agent who said she had to get one deal as fast as possible. She, for whatever reasons, didn't have to borrow money. Should she get a side gig, a side job? How can she make money quickly? And said, this is it. This is it. And I think sometimes we poo-poo the way that's simple, but not easy. Simple, meaning there's not a lot to describe it, makes sense. It's not easy, it's the real work. So number 10, we're going to talk about COI referrals, or Center of Influence referrals. So I teach there's 11 ways to get a sale in real estate. Today we're going to talk about number 10, which is COI, Center of Influence referrals. So number 1's clients. Now this one's kind of obvious to me. And when people say, well, I want to get into probate, and if you're an agent or investor wholesaler already doing business, the easiest way to get the next probate deal is do something in probate, take a class, get certified, sell a probate, buy a probate, go to court, something, and tell everybody you know that you're involved in the probate business. People love hearing, people who know you, like you, trust you, love hearing about you doing new stuff. And again, I'm not talking about people who don't like you. Forget them. So in Realtors, we have a database we would call our COI or SOI. That would include all past clients. That would include all past prospects. That would include everybody we know. Everybody who meets what I call the Big Five. Actually comes from BigJoel.com, Joel Epstein. They know, you know them, they know you. They like you. If you call them, they'd return your phone call. If you bumped into them, they'd be pleasant. That's everybody you know that falls in that category should be in your COI. So number 1 is your COI. This is the most underutilized, free, most profitable, best source of business for realtors and investors and wholesalers by far. It's not exciting. It's not sexy. You can't sell a book which says, learn about probate, and every day when you learn something, share it with everybody you know. Number 2, vendors. If you're in real estate, you know vendors, escrow, title, lender, hard money lender, roofing guy, plumbing guy, carpet guy, gal, whatever. Make sure they all know that you know something about probate, that you're focusing on probate, you're looking to generate business in probate. But make sure everybody else you know in your world knows you're a probate specialist. Not bragging, I'm a probate specialist, nobody cares. Share with them information you learned of value to them. So vendors, everybody you know, who's your escrow officer, title officer, make sure they know. Teach them something about probate. Make sure they know you're focused in that business. Are they going to want to help you? Next, realtors. If you're a wholesaler, ask realtors about probate. Work with them for probate. Have them draw a list for you. One of the great things investors, wholesalers do that I work with, I find the area they like, kind of properties they like. I create a search of probate properties that meet that. Send it to them and me. Very narrow search. No other realtor is doing that. If you're a realtor, you also can pull all the probate sales in your market area. Now, when I say market area, I mean narrow market area, the area that you really know well. But every time a probate pops up in that area where you're an expert, go see that property. Number 4, investor wholesaler. As a realtor, you want to meet investors wholesaler because by definition, investors buying and selling property, that's what we do. I've seen so many professional investors say they work with realtors 80% of the time. When I ask great investors, where they find their property and really break it down with them, they will admit 80% of properties that they find are on the MLS. Now, sometimes they have a way to get it. Sometimes they have a particular system that they're finding, or maybe they don't want to work with you on the properties they find on their own. But it doesn't mean that you can't find the properties before them and bring them to them. I just did that. I literally just did that. I'm waiting for the contract to be signed for a $1.1 million property. I had to search for a client. He gave me a narrow search range. Up popped the property. Ooh, I know that listing agent. Called listing agent, found out about the showings, found out about the offer status. Got my offer in. Verbally, we're accepted. I'm waiting for that signature, but that's all I did. I do that. What I'm telling you guys to do, I do every day. And when people say, well, where's your business come from? Well, one comes from this, one comes from that, one comes from this. I do 11 things. I get a couple from each. In the course of a year, I got 2 or 3 from each. I'm going to close 30-something deals in 12 months. I've closed 30-something deals in the last 12 months. As simple as that. Generally, the person's not around anymore. Might be a probate. Might be a trust sale with full authority. They don't need, or trust sale or probate with full authority. They may not need an agent. Might not be special, but they're getting ready to sell the house. You should pop on by and find out what the story is. Now, I also think if you're going to estate sale, at least show some interest in the estate. I mean, don't pretend like you're interested in buying something. Find something that you find interesting. Usually stuff is so freaking cheap. Buy some DVDs or buy some books or buy something while you're there for a couple bucks. But if you meet the owners, there's no agent involved, right? So estate sales are a great source for potential business. Those are basically signs saying we're moving. Paralegals. How many of you know paralegals? People who work in law offices but aren't attorneys. Here's a clue. Who do you think does the paperwork in the office? The attorney or the paralegal, right? So if you happen to know somebody who's not an attorney but they work in law, ask them, hey, I'm working probate. Do you ever come across any probates? Do you work trust sales? Tell me about your job. Tell me about what you do. I'm interested. I'm curious. Get them talking. Paralegals are a great source of business. I used to go to probate court. I'll tell you a trick. I go to probate court and find people who are self-serving using paralegals. Not only did I approach the estate, but I'd find out the paralegal, because the name was in the paperwork, I'd call the paralegal and say, hey, I can help you. I'll take your clients and meet them at court and make them feel comfortable in the courtroom. I won't charge you for it. I just want to pitch them my service to sell their house. They loved it. Loved it. Other probate vendors. So in probate, if ever you have a probate sales or realtor, you have one, or an investor, there's a few other parties there. One is the probate bond company. The person who manages the estate, the petitioner who becomes the administrator or executor, needs to get a bond, an insurance policy, to ensure the court that they're not going to either steal money or accidentally distribute money in the wrong order, because taxes get paid first, creditors next, and then the heirs. I think then legal fees, then the heirs. So the bond company is on every single probate case. So if you happen to know a bond company, ask them, do they do fiduciaries, or do they do executors or administrators of probate estates? So that's basically the wrap-up. And we'll just go real quick. I identified 11 ways to get a sale on probate, and we're covering number 10, which is referrals from your COI.